teachers and getting us started actually get up and using Lumio. So this training site here has got lots of information for you, and to get to it you go to smarttech.com/training, or just with some changing over website at the moment you might need to go to legacy.smarttech.com/training. It also takes you to this page, and like I said, this video is very much focused on the teachers and the educators, so I'm going to get started with these resources here. And then within here, you can look over all the different bits of software, so feel free to look at the other videos for those bits there. But in this one here, we're going to focus on Lumio and really getting started with that there. And then you can see here, this training guide here takes you how to start, how to engage it, how to make your lessons more engaging, enhance them, deliver them, and obviously share them with teachers and students. And it's a very quick and easy guide through. So we're just going to have a bit more detail and walk through these bits here. So first of all, I'm going to go to Lumio, and let's come out of my lesson here, and I'm going to go to this website here. This website is Lumio, lum.io. You can sign up and use it for free, or of course, if you've got a Smart Learning Suite subscription or a Lumio subscription, then you'll be able to use this software here as well. When you're using the free version, that you can use everything we've got here. It's about 50 megabytes of data, which equates to about 10 lessons for you to go and have a bit of a go through as well. There's no time limit, there's no other limits, so go ahead and have a try with that if you want to. And then within here, like I said, the website is lum.io to be able to get to this. And this is where we can have some really engaging, really great lessons to really have active learning with the students, either at the board here or on their devices, either in class or out of the class or wherever they might be as well. So back to that training guide that we spoke to a moment ago. The first one is start. How can I start a lesson? Now what I can do here is I can add a resource to it, and then if I want to add a resource, I can begin to build up my lesson already. I can find existing content I've got here, and there's a wealth of stuff already within Lumio, or I can actually import my resources, and I can import PowerPoints, notebook files, PDFs, or of course Google Slides as well. And I can import these resources from locally or from actually saved onto my computer, and I can actually combine those file types for that as well. So if I have one of these lessons here, this is one of the lessons here, and I'm going to click to open it. And then I can start presenting my lesson here. To make that lesson, all I did was drag and drop it into that place there, and that will be my lesson uploaded, and I'm good to go there. So I'm going to end that one. So if I have a file, one of these lessons here, drag and drop it and place it straight into there, and then I can teach that lesson rather than teach it through PowerPoint or from Google Slides or a PDF. I can actually teach it from there. And then once I've got that lesson here, I might actually want to start with a video. So if I wanted there, I can add the video here. I can add a YouTube video, and it will be advert free as well. Really keeps it in line with the students. So if I just open up this video, this one here, you can see that if I'm going down my content here, it will appear just as a video within that as well. Or of course, if you actually started that lesson, I can go to these three dots and edit it. So beginning to build that lesson up, I can actually add in a YouTube video as well, and so the engagement for the students there as well. I'm just going to finish editing this page, and let's look at how else could we start a lesson. So I'm going to end that one. Another way of starting this lesson, by adding these activities here, adding it, I can just start with a blank page. So here's a blank page here. If I click on that one, what blank page do I want to start my lesson, actually creating that content straight from within Lumio? Maybe it's a lined graph dotted paper I want. And there's lots and lots of different templates here, and these will obviously change throughout the year, and more will be added to them. But find one that you like for our particular lesson, and you can start with that template straight away from in there. Or of course, you might want to choose some of that pre-existing content. Like I said, there's loads of resources in there. Go and have a look at those. Or it might be you actually want to start with a graphic organizer or a digital manipulative. These are the same ones that sit inside the smartboard in the IQ unit as well. So if you've watched that video already, then you'll see those. But if you're looking at graphic organizers here, it might be that I start with a brainstorming activity. It might be that I start with a reading response or a sequence chart. And there's lots of different ones in here. I'm actually going to start this one with a thinking frame. So if I click on that one, and then that's preparing my lesson, starting from that graphic organizer straight within it as well. So that's just now adding to my file, and that's opening it up, and then that gives me a preview of it there. And then if I want to continue building that lesson, I can click on this add button, and you can see it's adding that content there. And maybe I want to add a digital manipulative. And there's lots of really nice ones here. And that's a nice base 10 one there, some coins, clocks, whatever it is. I'm actually going to go for a musical score for this one here, adding some musical notes. So again, I'm building that lesson up, either straight from within Lumio here, or I could be building it from bringing in that existing content as well. So now how can we enhance that lesson? Let's bring in additional resources. So I'm going to add in some different things here. And let's look at an assessment. So response here is your formative assessment. And if I click on that, this is where I can begin to build up this lesson with some different assessment types here. Do I want a multiple choice? True or short? You could read them for yourselves, but there's some different bits in here as I can begin to build it up. And each one of these multiple choice, you can see there, you add your question and your answers down the top there. If you want to add in images, you can. And then as I build that bank by adding question after question, that can be done here, changing whichever one it is to adding those. And I've got that formative assessment. What that will mean is that I'll start the questions here. The students will have those on their devices and they'll be able to answer those questions on their devices. On the screen here, you'll see your whole class progress. And at the end, when they finish those, they'll be able to have their individual assessments. They'll be able to have that feedback straight for them straight away. And then for you, for later on, you'll be able to export that data as an Excel document and store that where you wish. So then obviously you can grade it, you can mark it, you can have that assessment for your own data capture later on as well. So as well as that, if I just discard that one, I'm going to add another one. Rather than adding your formative assessment here, there's lots of game-based activities within this as well. And there are loads of these here, and I'm not going to have a look at them all for now. I'll let you explore. But I will say, if you click on that little hat there, graduation hat, you'll be able to see which one is which, like the rank order. And as you kind of guess, we're going to rank order things, put them in line here, and then drag them, drop them into there. There are lots and lots of different backgrounds in those you can choose from. There's like a simple background. There's quite some nice kind of friendly, more primary focused ones as well as be able to absolutely customize it and put your own backgrounds in there as well. Quite a nice label reveal one here. So you've put your picture in the middle and put your hotspots into it. A really nice way of actually just making an interactive resource for the students where they can have that vocabulary in front of them and obviously saving on your photocopying as well. And there's lots of different ones, a really nice word search one in there. Go and have a play, see which one's best for you and which one's best for your learners in there as well. But some really nice activities to add to that. Now, actually on this page here, another thing to enhance your work with is actually at the top here, adding some audio. So here I can actually add audio and embed it into my lesson. So when the students do have that in front of them on their device, they can press play and they can have that audio in there. And that's just simply by starting recording. The recording will start and then I pause it and then that recording is onto it. And obviously I can record it again, delete it and do whatever I want to. But that audio is then embedded into their work. Obviously if we're in the classroom or if they're taking this home, they can have that there as well and add that to the page. And then that's just by that audio at the top there as well. So now we're beginning to kind of create that really good lesson. What I'm really going to focus on now is how can I make that an engaging lesson for the students. So if I want to do it straight away, whilst I'm preparing the lesson, I've got this magnifying, this magic wand at the top here. And if I click on that magic wand, this musical stave here, I can either convert it to an individual handout, a group workspace, or a whole class whiteboard. And those are quite as self-explanatory. Obviously the individual one gives a copy to everybody else. For example, that could be a PDF exam paper we're handing out. Group work, we're coming together. And then the whole class whiteboard where everybody is writing on that same page as well. So we're going to have a look at those in a bit more detail. So I'm going to finish just this lesson here and let's start this geography lesson. So as I start this one here, as you can see, this is the teacher when I started it. And down here, this is the student's device. It can be any device. The way they get to it, they go to, if I click on these people here, click on my code, and the student's device has gone to hellosmart.com. They can join as a guest, or they can join log in with their Google credentials or Microsoft credentials. And once they've done that, it'll ask you for a code. My individual code, which is linked to my Lumio lesson, my Lumio account, is this code here. And then I can see that students are beginning to join. So I've got 3 joined, and then that one is shared for up on here. And very, very simply, now I'm actually teaching with this. As I go next here, it's going next for the learner there. So whatever's appearing on my device will appear on their device here. And what's great about using it with a smartboard is that I can actually pick up that pen, start annotating, and that annotates for them as well. So any key objectives that I'm looking at here will be for there as well. If I'm just doing this from another device, I can just do it by finger and click and select and bits from there and then go back onto my finger, depending on which way you want to use it for there as well. That is then appearing straight on the student devices. As I go to the next page, it goes next for them. We jump down into that YouTube video as well. As I've got the YouTube video here, I can play it there, or of course they've got it there for playing later on as well. So moving down here, we're really looking at that group work, that group collaborative space. So I want everybody to be working in different groups to have this here. So I could have converted it beforehand, but I actually during the lesson I can as well. So clicking on these people, it gives me the same choice here. And I'm going to change it to a group workspace. So clicking on this group workspace here, it pauses it for the students whilst it just puts us into groups. And you can see I can put us into different teams. We can have up to about 54 people joining in it in 9 different groups. But just for now, I'm just going to put us into 2 groups. And here I can rearrange these different people into the different groups here. Click start. And then these are the different groups here. This group working completely independently from this one. So if I jump into the Chromebook here, I as a teacher can make any annotations on here, but also as a student here, I can make those annotations for myself down here. So where I'm making those annotations will appear on here. But as a teacher, I can actually see that contribution as well, that attribution. I can see that my Chromebook has added in that bit of text there. And if I want to jump to another group, I jump into the next group who haven't quite started working yet, maybe they need a prompt, and jump back into team 1, and I can see that how they're getting on there and add those parts. I can see that the teacher is adding those bits to that one there. So that's really that collaborative workspace there. Moving on, another way to really have that engagement with the learners here is looking at this individual handout. So I want them to do work by themselves now. So again, clicking on these people here, and I'm going to click for an individual handout. So now individually, what do we want to do with this? It asks the students to click start. As they click start on their actual work here, their name will appear up on here. I have got the ability to do a teacher handout, which is obviously the way you can model it to them and show it from there. But actually I can now just see the students here. So adding the students here, I can then ask for their contributions here, and they can add in images, they can add in text, or they can draw for those bits in there. Whatever they add there will appear up on here. So if I just add something on here, and for example, I search for wind power, they can add, click on the picture, and then they've got the ability to move that picture and put it wherever they want to as well. And then as a teacher, I can see that's there and go in and give some valuable feedback to them for those different sections as well, just in that one student. And when the other students click starts, their names will appear up on there. At the moment, this is all teacher paced. As I move up and down the lesson, they move up and down with me. If I click into student paced, you'll see that the student stays on their individual work here, but as a teacher, I can now move down and look at this frame here. So this is one of the graphic organizers that are already there, and it's just added a title into that. And then this is the title here, and they've got that for them. Maybe at this pace here, I want to make this to a whole group work. So the final one here, we're looking at whole class whiteboard. And now it's a whole class whiteboard. Everyone is now annotating together, and they're all just in this one document here, and we can all annotate together. I can have it so they're all collaborating, but if I click that one off here, then they can't collaborate with it, and it's just on the teacher paced here. You can see at the moment, because it is student paced, they're not actually in this work. So if I now click here and toggle it back to teacher, now it's on teacher paced, they have now come back into this work here. So as I click resume, then they are in this work here as well. And then click on everyone can edit, means that they have now got the tools and they can edit on this page. What's really nice, there's lots of editing to that as well. So this is different ways of actually engaging on that whole class, the individual and the students as well, the individual and the group work. So I'm going to end that lesson. Some other really great ways to make your lessons more engaging is by adding more activities. And looking at here, I'm just going to focus on these two here. You've got your Desmosing graphing calculator. So within here, you can add all the different bits that you've got within the Desmos graphing calculator. You can add your parameters and all the different bits within there. You can add in any expressions, notes, tables, etc., or even images around the background to add those to that one there. And then send it out to the students' devices so they've got that working for them as well. The other great way to add some engagement is through your PhET interactive simulations here. And there are loads in here. Science, maths teachers, these are fantastic. And there's lots of them, obviously searching at the top here. And I can just see if I can add this one, build a fraction. And it gives you a quick preview of it so you can see how to work it. So I can see what is this right for my particular lesson that I'm teaching. And then from in here, let's just click on that one. Again, I'm just previewing it here. Let's go for level 1 to start with. I can see that this is a half, and which one of these is a half. I can drag and drop that. Yep, that's right, that's ready for my learners, and I can save it to my lesson. And now I'm saving that PhET animation to my lesson, which is obviously then be able to send out if it's for homework, if it's actually in the class. It's going to be a really engaging experience for the learners. So the next point is we're going to focus on delivering it. Now I've already shown kind of what it looks like for a connected learner, but let's just walk our ways through that here. So if I just bring up a separate web browser here, what the students need to go to is hellosmarts.com. And they'll find themselves at this page here, hellosmarts.com. It will load, and you can see from here you can sign in with a student, so that's from their Microsoft or their Google credentials, or we can just join as guests, a nice quick and easy way. From there, it's going to ask you for a class code. Now, if I jump back into my page here, you can see my class code is at the top here, and that will be the same wherever I start teaching, signing into that one there. And then, so let's go back to the student view. So they type in that code there. My code was 162353. They've joined that lesson there. Click next. It will ask them for their name. If you're using, let's see if I can type my own name right. If you're logging in with your Microsoft or Google credentials, their names will come with them to save them typing in their own name. And then I click join as guest, and now I'm joined as a guest here, and that will be straight into the lesson whenever the teacher starts it. So within this here, there's lots of activities to really make sure you're delivering from there. Now actually, if I've got that lesson and I'm teaching it live within there and I want to add more content to it kind of during the lesson, I can actually add in some different stuff. So we've looked at that Desmos already. We can actually add a whiteboard in there as well. So if I actually add a whiteboard, and then it's just as simply as maybe just taking notes, I can add those within the lessons. And then from there, I might even actually make this a whole class whiteboard as well, so we can actually have everyone interacting with that together. What is really great, if I just jump down to this page here, which we had as a whole class page, is looking at Immersive Reader. Now, Immersive Reader itself is massive and there's loads of bits within it, and that's all actually straight from within Lumio. So here I have got a piece of text and it's available here with Immersive Reader. So if I click on that, I've got the different bits of text. So if I click on this one here, then it's going to give me the Immersive Reader for that piece of text that I've done it. Now this is obviously a small piece of text, but if you've typed in a large piece of text, then that will be brought with you as well. Sustainable, what's that? It can read it for me, energy, and give me a bit of a picture of it as well. Or of course, if I want to read the whole page to me, I can click that. And there's lots more options to your learners to have here, changing the text size, changing the background color to make it kind of easier to read. And looking at even translating it into a different language from in that as well. So it's a really great way to actually start those, make it an even better lesson for you to deliver there as well. So jumping back, we're just going to look at one more bit at how to deliver that to students, and that's by adding a shout it out activity. So this shout it out activity here, as I start that straight away, it started for the learners as well. And this is trying to get everyone's ideas actually up onto the screen as well. Remember, this is just web-based, so whatever device they're working from, in the class, out of the class, wherever they are, that you can have their answers jumping at you straight away. So if I, for example, just type in hello here, as soon as I type that there, let's actually type it, and then send the response. I've sent it, and that is sent up on here. So I'm getting those instant feedback, and I'll click on that, and that will go full screen as well. So I'm having all those responses, and I can move these around and categorize them, and that is shouted out straight from there as well. So there's loads to look at within Lumio. And if I'm just clicking to end this lesson here, bring in your resources, drag and drop them in, or create your own resources here. There's an amazing resource bank within that as well. This guide here is the training guide here. So if you go to Lumio, lum.io, have a look at that training guide, and that will essentially is what this video is talking you through, and that's the guide to have a look at that from there as well. And once you've kind of built all that lesson here, is how can I share that with my teachers, with my colleagues, or with the learners as well? So taking that lesson that we've built up here, if I click on these three dots, I can then share a link. And now if I'm sharing this link, I've got teachers and students. If I want to share it with teachers, I can copy and paste that one, send it to them however way you would communicate with your other colleagues. And equally with students here, I can copy that one and then share that with students and posting it inside their learning platform or whatever they want to from in that as well. And that works with any learning platform, even if it's just pasting into a secure part of a website or anything else as well. It is fully integrated with Google Classroom as well. And there is an app within Teams to be able to open that for it as well. I will just very briefly look at the Google side of things. So these are my lessons here. You can see that they're all stored within your Google platform. I can either open up the Lumio files themselves, or even if it's a Google Slides, I can click and then open with Lumio, and then it'll convert that slides straight into a Lumio file. Meaning then, if I've got that in my Google Classroom and I'm actually going to add some classwork and create an assignment or anything else, what I can do now is actually look at my Google Drive, and it's going to look at my Google Drive and find out what lessons do I want to share. Is it a Google Slides? Actually, in this case, I want to share my Lumio lesson, so they've got all those engagements and all those great bits to actually make that active learning for them there as well. So hopefully, if I just jump back onto here, hopefully that's been useful, and we've looked at those bits and pieces there. Have a go and see how you can get on with using Lumio for your learners. Thanks very much. Goodbye.